Today, we're going to be looking at some spell cards that our commenters are having difficulty with. For future reference, if you'd like help with certain spell cards, feel free to comment those in any of my videos. Before we get started, I'd like to mention that I practice these spells with a fan-made program called THPrac. It lets you replay any spell without going through the level. I'll link it in the description. So our first spell card today is Cirno's Icicle Fall. I know this spell is considered a joke, but if you're not being sarcastic when you asked me, then I would feel bad if I didn't help. So let's start this spell. So as you saw, I went in to do some DPS first, and you should do that with any spell card. So there's two main things you have to look out for in the spell. These yellow balls and the icicles that are closing in. So you don't want to be closed in with these icicles. So what I'm about to do is dodge outside of them by letting them pass through me. I don't stay in the middle because then I have to contend with both the yellow balls and the icicle fall. And then once I do that, I go back to the middle. And since this spell card has so little HP, you can just aggro it at the end if you aggroed it properly at the beginning. My second commenter asked for Youmus, but that's a hard mode attack, and frankly, I don't play on hard mode. I play on normal mode. I just focus on getting 1 CCs. So for all of these spells that they asked for, I'm going to be doing the normal mode version, except for Kyouko's Amplify Echo, because Mountain Echo is like really baby, so I'll be doing that one on hard. So they're going to stop time, and here you see I'm going to be moving to the other side because Youmu is going to teleport there. And like I said, if you can aggro, do aggro, but don't get greedy. So there's nothing really you can do at this point because there's just doing the visual effect right now of the attack. But once time stops, I'm going to start going to the left again. So I know this looks crazy, and it is a little crazy, but the time slowing should really help you. And what you need to be looking for is an open area, and it's a maze-like attack, so you need to figure out how to get through those proactively. And you won't have enough time in the time slow to dodge everything, so you need to put yourself in a position where the fast bullets will go by you. So see here, I'm positioning myself to make sure that I'm not hit, and it's about to stop. So I'm gonna make a quick dodge here into the open area right above me. And then I'm back in position to aggro. And then I do it again here. That one was pretty easy because there's a really open area. And since we aggroed, we can beat it in 2 waves instead of 3. This next one is Aya's survival spell, Illusionary Dominance. This is a random spell. I asked the Touhou Discord whether it is static, and this is what they told me. Frankly, there's not much strategy I can tell you specifically about this spell, but for random attacks, if it's slow, then you just want to minimize your movement. For fast ones like this, you need to go through bullets proactively. And I know it's hard because these ones go by so fast, but if you wait for bullets to go by you, then safe zones will shift and you won't be able to get through the entire spell. So I'm going to where the bullets are the least dense, and I'm trying to go through them proactively, but you can see like I start getting trapped here, and I have to start letting them go by me instead. I did get a little bit lucky there. Frankly, I think if you can afford to, I would bomb it as late as possible. I think that's probably one of the hardest attacks to dodge, but just try to proactively go through gaps instead of letting the gaps go by you, because otherwise the safe zones will change. So this first part, she's just going to shoot these big balls without any of the smaller ones. So feel free to aggro, but don't get greedy, because if you lose a life here, I'll laugh at you. So you can see all of these little bubbles, and what they do is they make a maze for you. So what you want to do is wait for the sound effect, because where the big balls are shot are dependent on where you are. So if you try to proactively dodge them, it'll just change where the big balls are shot anyway. So what you want to start doing here once you hear the sound is go into one of these two zones, go into the other zone in which you are not in, and try and figure out how to get through this maze without getting hit by the small balls. And you see there where there's kind of a concave effect between the balls. That's where you need to be. See, now I'm in the middle zone again. So once the sound effect goes off, I'm gonna have to go to the right or left, but not stay in the middle. So you're just solving the maze basically every time. Like, how am I going to get to the second zone? Don't worry too much about aggroing here. As long as you're dodging correctly and going back to the middle zone, you'll get it in a few waves. So this one is really weird. You have to go around. Obviously you can't stay in the middle and just aggro it. Try and focus more on the pattern of the green lasers rather than the small bullets, because those are the least of your problems. You'll honestly have to memorize how these move. Let's go back. So here at the beginning, you can see that I'm kind of meandering in the middle to make sure I get the most damage possible. But later on, it'll go by too fast. Like, watch this. Once we go towards the middle, it starts speeding up. The biggest thing is that you shouldn't be focusing here. If you focus, the green lasers will catch up to you. The best thing I can tell you is memorize the position of the green lasers. And then if you have the space to do so, you can circle around the bullets. This next one is Shining Needle Sword. So you see here I'm aggroing again because the first part is basically just a warning shot. So these knives are aimed, meaning that if you nudge out of the way, even just a little bit, they won't hit you. So this is where the hard part starts. These knives are the maze. So I probably talked about this before, but with these maze-like attacks plus the aimed attacks, what you need to do is figure out how to get through the maze while nudging slightly. See, I'm finding the space between the knives and then dodging. Like, you really don't need that much space. Like, watch this next part. Like, I barely move out of the way. As long as you're moving when you hear the sound, then you'll dodge them automatically. Don't worry about how big the knives look. It'll work every time if you just nudge. So this is the one that I'm doing on hard mode because long range echo is super baby mode. So first part, just aggro, it's just a visual effect. So this comes in two waves, the small bullets and the big bullets. What I want you to do is visualize the maze, but have the maze be constructed by arrows in which the bullets are moving. So I'll probably show that on screen right now. So this is the part that trips everyone up. By visualizing those zones, you can see the maze and where you need to go. It's really tight, but the white areas won't hurt you unless you're really close to them. See, like, I'm straight up inside that bullet and it's not killing me. And then don't worry too much about aggroing her on the second part because you need to worry about visualizing the maze and getting through it. And there again, I'm going through the white parts. And that's the video. I'm planning on making these again, maybe with comments, maybe I'll go through the games and just do spells that I think are hard. But I hope I helped you guys with your triple spells. See you next Touhou Tuesday.